January, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I'll go ahead and get started here. Mayor Mock had a slight work emergency, so he was able to make it, so I get to sit in the big chair today, and hopefully I can do him justice. So I'll go ahead and call the July 15th City Council regular meeting to order, and the clerk will call roll.
Mayor Brian Mock, Mayor Pro Tem Jimmy First,
Here.
Councilmember John Mesa, Councilmember Leslie Robson, here. Councilmember Paul Stovall,
Here.
Councilmember Elmer Vike.
Present.
So Sharon, our city clerk, went to Beyonce last night, so if you're wondering why she can't speak, that's the reason. So I'm going to ask Councilman Chris Henshaw to come up and do the Pledge of Allegiance for us, if you would. So just get started and we'll follow up. Yep.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on to approving the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to amend the agenda.
I hear a motion to amend the agenda. Any discussion?
Yeah, have a second.
Second? Any discussion on that?
The item is to remove the Meadowmere East case.
I have a motion to remove the Meadowmere East case. Second. I have a second. Vote?
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Am I getting ahead of myself?
So we had a motion to amend, we need to vote on that. In discussion, I let people know what we are changing, and then we can make the change.
Any
So
discussion?
Vote first.
And can I get a vote, please?
In favor?
What are we voting on? I'm confused.
Yes.
We're voting on to amend the agenda or the Meadowmere?
To amend the agenda.
Okay, I voted for that.
Yes.
So you voted.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Good to move on?
And then, so the item we're removing
Yes, so
PZ
we're-
2025-1478.
Yes, we're removing the Meadowmere from the agenda. Any discussion on that?
Second.
Get a second, thank you. I'll get this, guys, I promise. Any discussion on this?
Are we setting a time for when we're going to bring it back?
There will be a new case.
It has to be advertised and all that good stuff.
So I just want to make sure I understand. Are we deferring this item or we're just completely, so?
We are removing it from the agenda.
So when we get to it, we don't want to withdraw it. We're just
just
gonna
removing it.
remove. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Sharon, for the record, it needs to be re-advertised, so we don't want to defer it because it has to be re-advertised. We're just removing it from the agenda.
All those in favor? And that passes.
And then a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Now, can I have a motion to approve the, you just made the motion, can I have a second, please?
Second.
And any discussion? All those in favor? Fantastic. Apologize about the curveball there, folks. All right, that brings us down to announcements, and it looks like we have Lifeline Animal Showcase.
Thank you all so much for having us and having us every single month. We appreciate it more than you know. And thank you to my two colleagues here who let me pick our amazing dog for today. This is Curly. He is 6 years old and he is just the sweetest boy. He loves people. He has lived with other dogs. He's been out to several adoption events and has done fantastic. So if you're looking for just a cuddly, people-friendly pup to join your family or to foster, he is at our DeKalb County Animal Services location, where we currently have 488 dogs. I was just given the final count for today. Ideally, we would have 475. Ideally, we would have none. They all would be in loving homes, but we are excited that we will be also getting our pet neighborhood. It is underway. We are hoping for an opening date of September. So fingers crossed on that. We are excited to be able to house more amazing dogs like Curly more comfortably. And we also have cats. I got to shout out our cats. We have tons of kittens in right now, bottle babies. So if you're looking to help nurture the beginnings of some precious kittens' lives, please come down to our facility. You could even walk there. It wouldn't take that long. It's raining, don't do that. But drive down there and pick up some sweet kittens, or, you know, if you're looking to add a permanent family member, check out our cats that are available for adoption as well. But thank you guys so much for having us again and for having Curly.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Is there any comments from council? All right. That moves us down to the audit results for the 2025 mid-year budget review.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Julie Pirro, Finance Director for the City of Chamblee. I have Will Duritz here. He's the manager, one of the managers at Malden and Jenkins, to present the 2024 audit.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, City Manager. Thank you, Julie. So I'm here to present the audit results for the city's most recent fiscal year end, 2024, and we'll jump right in. I'm working off of a presentation tonight, so we'll just go slide by slide. As Julie mentioned, my name is Will Durzis. I'm a director with Malden and Jenkins. I've been a part of the city's audit team for the past several years. Also included on our team is Josh Carroll, one of the engagement partners, and Doug Moses, who served as our quality control review partner. And on this slide, you can just see a profile of Malden and Jenkins and our governmental practice as a whole. All right, so a few things I need to communicate to you all. So our audit opinion, so we consider the city's internal control structure for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the basic financial statements. Our audit is performed in accordance with standards accepted within the United States, as well as government auditing standards, which are specific to the city. Our objective is to provide reasonable but not absolute assurance on the basic financial statements and the results of the most recent fiscal year end. I'm pleased to share we did issue an unmodified or a clean opinion, and that just says that everything presented in the city's ACFR we believe presents fairly and is in accordance with accounting standards accepted within the United States. It's also worth mentioning the city is issuing its 9th annual comprehensive financial report, or ACFR, which goes kind of above and beyond the standard state-required report, which includes a series of statistics, letter of transmittal, some other additional information, and the city's certificate from its 2023 ACFR is included in the 2024 submission. So kudos to the finance team. Also included in the ACFR are compliance reports, one in accordance with government auditing standards, and then one is also in accordance with uniform guidance, which is related to the city's single audit or its federal major program when the city spends over $750,000. That threshold is going up to $1 million for next year, and so anytime federal funds that are expended in excess of $1 million, the city will be required to have a single audit performed. And then some other basic standard procedures we do within the audit: confirm cash, debt issuance, debt amounts, any receivables outstanding, a search for unrecorded liabilities, and then vouch substantial additions to capital assets and other things like that. So ultimately, management is responsible for its selection and use of accounting estimates, other management estimates. Those policies are disclosed in Note 1 to the financial statements. There were two new standards that would have been applicable to the city's 2024 report, and so we consider that the city implemented those this year, but those two standards, GASB number 100 and 101, they didn't have any impact on the city's financial statements. 101 is related to compensated absences. That was addressed by management in years past, and so whatever impact that would have resulted this year had already been recorded in the past. So congrats to management for kind of getting out ahead of the game there. All right, some other required communications. We received full cooperation from the city's management over the course of the audit. We had no disagreements upon conclusion of our audit. We requested certain written representations from management. We received those with no issue. There were no other significant issues discussed with management, and we are not aware of any other CPAs or consultations that have transpired between management and other accountants on anything. During the course of the audit, there were some audit adjustments posted, those provided by management, some that we encountered during our test work, but there were no unrecorded or past audit adjustments, so everything was booked. And then lastly, auditor independence. That's kind of the cornerstone to an effective audit, as you might imagine. And Malden & Jenkins, we are independent with regard to the city and its any of its component units and any related organizations. All right, so just to hit on a few of the financial trend, a few highlights. This chart is a 5-year trend for the city's general fund, its primary operating fund, relative to its other governmental funds, including special revenue, capital projects, things like that. So the city's general fund at the end of 2024, total fund balance or equity that you can think of is about $15 million. It's just outpaced by all its other governmental funds. And you can see a little bit of a decline in the city's general fund over the past several years, but that's not a concern. And that $15 million is considered a healthy balance. Here you can see a ratio, general fund balance to its expenditures, 56 and 51%, so an average of just over 52, 53% for the past 2 years. 3 months is considered a healthy balance. This is about double that, so that's considered to be a healthy reserve. Some other financial trends on the operating income for the city's business type activities, its sanitation and stormwater operations. As you can see, stormwater has generated operating income the past 3 years. Sanitation operates at a loss, but that is fairly consistent with other similar entities and not a concern, so to speak. We did have one finding this year. A finding is reported at either a material weakness or a significant deficiency, material weakness being kind of the highest grade, the largest magnitude. This was not a material weakness, but was a significant deficiency, and is just related to some adjustments that were required to the city's tracking and its construction and progress balance for about $725,000 or so. That ultimately increased the value of the city's project. So we recommend just to continue to strengthen controls over capital assets and performing monthly reviews, just kind of keeping track to prevent any omissions in the future. And then a few things to communicate this evening that are considered management recommendations, items not to the magnitude of a finding. One being for grants oversight. We just recommend the city ensure someone who is familiar or a department that is familiar function as kind of a central oversight for the city's grants as the city grows and expands and utilizes more grant funding. It's important to keep in mind all the compliance requirements that come along with that. There were a few other minor capital asset adjustments, mostly for classification, which is kind of part of the whole audit process. Nothing of substance, but we again just recommend to continue to perform monthly reviews of capital assets details, additions, deletions, all of that. As again you continue to grow, more assets are added on to the city's books, infrastructure, ongoing projects, that type of thing. We did note the Downtown Development Authority. There was one late payment made on a debt service payment for about 2.5 weeks late, and that's not a material issue or anything, but you don't want to incur any additional unnecessary interest expense that the bank or whoever may charge you. So that was one recommendation. And then lastly, we noted in 24, no budget was adopted for the Confiscated Assets Fund, which is a special revenue fund of the city and is required under state law to be adopted. The activity is very minimal, so it's again considered a recommendation, not a finding by any stretch. But we just do recommend each year to adopt and all budgets for all special revenue. If a debt service fund ever exists, adopt one for that, along with the general fund. And then I won't go through all the other final slides here, but just this is some other offerings. MJ offers governmental advisory services. They perform operational audits, that type of thing. We also offer IT and cybersecurity engagements. And then lastly, new accounting pronouncements, the GASB, or Governmental Accounting Standards Board. They keep us all very busy and continue to issue new pronouncements every year. So you don't have to be an accountant or anything to read through these and kind of know the details, but it's good to just stay up to date, stay current with some things that may apply in the future, they may not. And then lastly, if anyone's interested in any continuing professional education, we offer free quarterly CP and have done so for the past 12 years. That, however, concludes my presentation for this evening, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone has. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from council? Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
And that brings us down to old business, approval of minutes. Oh, sorry, did I miss one? Yes, the fiscal year 2025 mid-year budget review. I do apologize. Daria? I don't. I've been excited about this all week.
Is this right?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Daria Kriskis, Budget and Strategy Manager, and each year in July we have a presentation like this, and it is just to go through what's been going on in the first 6 months of the year and give you a sense of where we're sitting, what we might expect toward the end of the year, and this is also per our city financial policy that we have this presentation. Okay, so back in December, the annual operating budget was adopted for FY 2025, and that was at $68 million. Since then, we have had just one budget amendment. That was back in April. You all approved that, and just to give you a quick reminder, that was for the Stormwater Fund related to some projects that had carried over from 2024. So we had an amendment for that. We also have an amendment on the agenda tonight. I haven't included that, but just as a reminder, that would, if approved, increase this amount by $240,000 for the Safe Streets for All federal grant. But setting that aside, the current total budget is $68.4 million. So here we have the fund summary, just splitting things up by some of the major categories here. Want to point out that this year's $68 million budget includes a couple of significant grants from the American Rescue Plan Act. That includes the Dresden Park grant, which is $7 million, and a $1 million Real-Time Crime Center grant, and these things are going to fall away, so you're going to see this total kind of come back to normal in the coming years. So with that, to date, the revenue collected in the general fund is $9.7 million, and it's 15.3 overall. And then for expenditures, we have 16.4 million in the general fund and $25 million spent total. And these are normal numbers. We typically, as you all are aware, bring in most of our revenue toward the end of the year. All right. This is same kind of breakdown, but more general fund focused by category. This is in line with historic trends. In fact, when I was looking at this slide from last year, we were exactly at 27% collected this time in 2024. And then this is that same information from the table before, but it's just showing you visually. I just want to give you a little bit of color to this here. So that solid green part of the bar is the percentage that has been collected out of 100%, and then the striped line is what we're still expecting to collect out of the budget. With taxes, again, that's the basis of our budget in the city. But we generally collect those September, October, November. Per the 2025 digest, we do expect to collect what we had budgeted, so that's good news. But one thing I wanted to mention is in 2024's budget, we're looking into this right now, but collections were lower than we have seen in previous years. We were sitting around about 90%, and I'm in touch with DeKalb County to try to get some information on what that might be, maybe more people appealing their property value, things like that.
So I just wanted to add, not to interrupt Daria's presentation, but on that note, since that is such a historically low remittance, we're trying to figure that out. Usually, anything under 95% is a problem. And we kind of I think we had a brief conversation about this when we talked about House Bill 581, but we're hoping not to see that trend again in 2025. But it's a bit of a concern when you're falling that far behind, far below 95% of remittance.
With the digest this year, we barely increased the budget compared to last year to kind of help hedge against that a little bit, but again, that's something we're monitoring. I'm going to skip to charges for services. Some of the big players here are the GCIC fees and Red Speed fees. You guys know it's just not been performing as well over the past few years. Fines and forfeitures, we have about 50% of the budget collected, and we actually increased that budget pretty significantly this year, so it just goes to the performance of the police department on getting that work done. With investment income, it's a combination of conservative budgeting and high interest rates that are helping us out there. All right, so I have this slide here to show you how kind of the pace of revenue collection throughout the year over the last few years. This year, it's the yellow line. I mean, it couldn't be more dead on it's very predictable for us. I was kind of looking at that green line from 2024, how it kind of, slopes down and then back up. But that kind of dip in June is counterbalanced by what happened in November. That's just an accounting thing when things were timed. So it should be a straight line were it not for that timing. And then we have expenditures by department. Start wrapping things up. Everybody's being good, spending on pace. Thanks, guys. They make me look good. And then by type as well. I think we didn't talk about this last year, but I thought it would be helpful. I mean, really, we're very driven by personnel and contracts for the most part. So I included that breakdown this year. And lastly, just to give you a sense of how we pace our expenditures, it is extremely steady. You can see the pace is very, constant. And with 2024, that was the green line. Again, we had a big jump there, but as you guys will recall, we had 2 major land acquisitions last year. In January of 24, the 3510 Broad Street, and in June, it was the 3220 Cumberland Drive. So that was why we were above. But even with that, I just want to point out that with the yellow line for 2025, I mean, it goes up every year. We're still subject to inflation and, growth in operations, things like that continue to put pressure on our budget. So with that, if you have any questions, let me know.
Can you go back a slide, please?
Mm-hmm. I regret to inform you that it actually is called personal services and employee benefits, yes.
Okay, all right.
But it is an alternative term for personnel. Yes, ma'am. Okay, anything else? All right.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you lived up to my expectations after waiting for that for a week, so thank you for that. So now we get to move on to old business, and we'll start with the approval of minutes, and it looks like we have 5 sets of minutes to approve today.
Motion to approve all 5 sets of minutes as presented.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor? And that passes. And that moves us down to ordinance second read. Would someone make a motion to allow the city attorney to read headings only, please?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. May I have a vote?
In favor.
In favor? And that passes. Thank you.
All right, the first ordinance is an ordinance to annex certain properties known as 2816, 2820, 2822, and 2824 Chambly Tucker Road into the city of Chambly.
This is a second read and requires action tonight.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the ordinance to annex 2816, 2820, 2822, and 2824 Chambly Tucker Road into the city of Chambly as presented and read by the city attorney.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor? And that passes. And then that moves us down to the second read for zoning on this particular item.
And this is an ordinance to assign zoning designation to Cobb County Annexed Zoning District, DCA, to certain property known as 2816, 2820, 2822, and 2824 Chambly Tucker Road.
Fantastic. And
Motion to adopt the ordinance for zoning for 2816, 2820, 2822, and 2824 on Chambly Tucker Road as presented by the city attorney.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? And that passes. All right, that moves us down to new business. And it looks like we have staff action items. We have the fiscal year 2025 Q2 budget amendment.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the Q2 2025 budget amendment resolution as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? And that passes unanimously. And that brings us down to staff action item, the North Metro SWAT Equipment Vehicle MOU.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like a motion to authorize the city manager to sign an MOU with North Metro SWAT, allowing Chambly Police Department to pay their portion of the North Metro SWAT equipment vehicle.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Oh, any discussion on the item? Excuse me. All in favor? Perfect. That moves us down. No, we kicked this from the agenda, so that moves us to the next item, which is Buford Highway 416.
You skipped one.
Did I skip one?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. That moves us down to New Peachtree Road, 5509 New Peachtree Road.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make a motion to approve one variance and 4 waivers with the following conditions. Number 1, the development should be constructed in substantial conformity with the site plan and elevations dated received by the Planning and Development Department May 13th, 2025, with revisions required by conditions of approval as reviewed and approved by the Planning and Development Director. 2, the applicant shall coordinate with the airport to investigate height requirements. 3, the applicant shall obtain a shared parking agreement with a nearby site. If the parking area is located across a roadway, the applicant shall install a city-approved pedestrian crossing. Final design of the pedestrian crossing shall be reviewed and approved by the Planning and Development Director.
Fantastic.
Second.
We have seconds, so I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Oh, wait.
Excuse me?
I do have a tiny bit of discussion, yet another error correction. I'm having trouble pulling it up, but on one of the photographs of the existing conditions on the site is properly labeled the new Peachtree Road view, but then the other side also says Peachtree Boulevard view when it's supposed to say West Hospital. So we just need to make sure that's corrected so that we have the location properly documented.
Any more discussion on this item? All those in favor? And that passes. That moves us along to 4166 Buford Highway.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to deny the variance request for 4166 Buford Highway.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor? And that passes. The denial passes, I should say. All right, and that moves us down to 5621 Peachtree Boulevard.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to bring a motion to approve variance 1, 3, 4, and 5, as well as waivers 1 through 7, and deny variance 2, waiver 8, with the following conditions. 1, the development should be constructed in substantial conformity with the site plan dated received by the Planning and Development Department on May 19th, 2025, with revisions required by conditions of approval as reviewed and approved by the Planning and Development Director. 2, additional plantings of landscaping will be included along the southern boundary of the project and the supplemental zone at the southern end of the project along Peachtree Boulevard. 3, lighting levels will be limited to no more than 18-foot candles throughout the project site. 4, all lighting will conform with dark sky standards. 5, pervious surfaces installed in the featured parking areas at the front of the site may count towards the total needed pervious area on the site.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All those in,
Well, I do, because I kind of couldn't understand. What was the second one that you approved?
Sorry, additional plantings and landscaping to be included along the southern boundary of the project and the supplemental zone at the southern end of the project along Peachtree Boulevard.
And I'd like to make a friendly amendment that the parking lot be screened by a hedge from view of Peachtree Boulevard. So the hedge needs to be proper material and tall enough to not be able to see all the cars parked in the parking lot.
So can I ask you a question? Could that be included as part of the landscaping, the hedge, or is the hedge going to be in a separate area?
No, it can be, it's
Got it.
absolutely, it just needs to be planted to be a tall enough hedge to do it.
And I would also like to make a friendly amendment to the motion that it would include exploring the option to adding some berming to those plantings, so they're kind of, will give it some additional height to the, I don't know the topography, I haven't engineered it. Don't know if that's possible, but I would just at least like to explore that, staff to explore that option.
Point of order, if I may. You need to vote on the first friendly amendment and then the second before.
thank you.
Yep.
So we have one friendly amendment by Councilman Robson here. Any discussion on that item?
I'm, because of what you said, yeah, a little bit, because the place that there are 3 bays, I guess is what you would call them. They're supposed to be for display of cars, and I would not expect you to hedge that off or screen that off from Peachtree Boulevard, so it's going to have to be in the planting behind that. So that's
There's no planting area behind those featured parking areas. It's the driveway at that point. Behind the featured parking areas is a driveway, so there is no planting zone behind them.
And then there's
There's the
a
end caps.
planting
Okay,
strip.
there's the end caps. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Any more discussion on the friendly amendment?
Very quickly, if I may, when considering the berming or the hedges, if you want to consider adding that as a part of the condition, add the word feasibility so that we can assess it in the event that it's not feasible for the applicant and they can't be held to a condition that they can't actually enact.
Proceed with your friendly amendment and get it voted on, and then
Did I get a second for the friendly?
we've never done it that way before, so.
The
was that just-
movement needs to either accept or reject the friendly amendment.
I need to.
No, the mover.
Councilman Beef.
I do accept it, yes.
It's accepted. Now, do we need to take a vote on that as well?
Well, there's a second.
Okay,
Now-
then that will come at the end.
Correct.
Okay,
So it's-
thank you.
There you go.
And Councilman Mesa?
Go ahead, your amendment, it's a friendly amendment.
To state it,
Yes, sir.
I would like the staff to explore the feasibility of including some berming on this area that's where the additional landscaping would take place.
And does the mover accept?
Yes.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? And that passes. Any point of orders there? Did we do that above board? Okay, fantastic. Got the thumbs up from our staff attorney, so we're good there. So that moves us down to Chang versus City of Milton, multi-city amicus brief resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to adopt the Chang versus City of Milton Multi-City Americas brief as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor? And that passes unanimously. And that brings us down to public comments, as we have nothing under our names. So I'll read the rules of order. The mayor is the presiding officer. All remarks shall be addressed to the city council as a body, not to individual members. Anyone wishing to speak shall come to the microphone, give their name and address to the city clerk, limit remarks to 3 minutes unless further time is granted by the council. Not speak a second time until everyone wishing to speak has spoken once. No one can speak more than twice. Please do not speak unless you have the microphone and have been recognized. Councilman Stovall, would you be my timekeeper today?
I will keep time for you, yes.
Thank you. Is there anybody wishing to address the council today?
Hello, Council. My name is Cassie. I'm a resident at 3450 Miller Drive. I think this is a really interesting thing. So in the Keswick Park Tunnel, when they did the Babe Walls murals, one of the quotes in there is, "How many years has it taken people to realize that we are all brothers and sisters and human beings in the human race?" Marsha P. Johnson. Right next to it is a City of Chamblee crest, and it says Chamblee 2024. In 2020, anti-LGBTQ attorney Scott Bergthold was paid a total of $91,234.22 by the City of Chamblee. $1,389 of that was expenses, $72,000 of it was casework, and a further $17,319 was consulting, which is alcohol, OTC, and massage licensing. 2021, the City of Chamblee paid anti-LGBTQ attorney Scott Bergthold $139,236.11. $14,000 of that was expenses, $64,650 was cases, $73,138 was consulting. In 2022, the city paid anti-LGBTQ attorney Scott Bergthold $75,374. Expenses, $6,474, cases, $12,625, consulting, $56,275. In 2023, the City of Chamblee paid anti-LGBTQ attorney Scott Bergthold a total of $115,796.12. Expenses, $9,136, cases, $55,675, consulting, $50,985. 2024, this is just through October because that's all I could get. Total $122,461,000 paid to anti-LGBTQ attorney Scott Bergthold. Expenses, $7,758. Cases, $51,975. Consulting, $62,727. That brings it to a total of $544,000, $102.19 paid to anti-LGBTQ attorney Scott Bergthold. And once again, asking the city to please stop using him. Transition to a different attorney. Stop giving him cases. Stop asking him for consulting on our licensures. Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to address council tonight?
Good evening, Jeff Cooper, resident at 3802 Green Hill Drive. Good evening, council members. It's been a month since I addressed this council regarding my concerns with respect to the ongoing litigation against Chamblee Tap and Market. Since that time, it's my understanding that despite assurances made by several members of this body, the parties have been unable or unwilling to engage in discussions necessary to resolve this issue, which is now the subject of an appeal pending in the DeKalb County Superior Court. I've been told that the city has been unwilling to engage in discussions with CTM unless and until CTM drops its appeal. As I'm sure you can all appreciate, the pending appeal is the only thing keeping this local business open and the only incentive the city has to engage in these discussions. Look, I don't work for CTM. I don't represent them. I don't work for South End Smokehouse. I'm merely a concerned citizen whose attention has been raised by what I see as a waste of time, resources, and money. The people affected by this issue are good, decent small business owners who just want to resolve this licensure issue and continue on with business. I urge this council to work with them to resolve this issue amicably, which will save the citizens of Chamblee money by not prolonging this already overblown litigation, which has served only to line the pockets of an out-of-state attorney with his own agenda. My friend just gave a summary of the amounts he's billed over the last few years. Let's find a common sense solution here and stop making out-of-state lawyers richer. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council this evening? Do we have an executive session this evening?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session for matters related to real estate, potential litigation, and personnel matters.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor? Fantastic.
I'll help you with that. Jody. 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 I would have gotten to, oh, thank you so much. To there, sorry for the delay.
No problem. I think there was a couple other things like the soccer.
Soccer contract I have on the list.
Just something recently, which may or may not need to be viewed by you. I originally read it and I said, I'm not sure I really need to do this. But
Okay, I'll look at it, yep. Thanks.
When they go to executive session, so you don't have to. That one's still. Testing, 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 testing. Can you hear me?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, make a motion to exit executive session.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All in favor? And that passes.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Any discussion on this? Oh,
Second? Second.
any discussion on this item? All in favor? And we are adjourned.